All right, so here's what we're fixing to get into today. On the driver's side, when we're driving, it makes a humming, pulsating sound. I know that sound. That's the sound of a failing bearing on the driver's side. So being in there and replacing one bearing isn't the best way to do it. Maybe I'll take a look at this bumper while we're at it too. So I'm going to replace both the passenger and driver side with these Moogs, and it's a whole hub assembly. Now, why did I go with this versus original Toyota parts? I'll tell you why. I have a road trip that I need to take this car on tomorrow. So these were the best quality, fastest available replacement units that I could get that are complete as an assembly. The other option is that we got to take apart the whole hub. I don't have a hydraulic press to press out the bearing and then press in the bearings. It's a whole process. So this here is already pre-assembled. I'll do an unboxing of this when we get to it. I have my tools ready for the job. These are just my random sockets, my organized wrenches, front end suspension kit, and then these are my impact sockets, which we'll probably use for all the disassembly. The car is now chalked, and we're just about ready to start. So the next step is I do need my impact gun, and I'll start bringing out the jack. I think what I'm going to do is loosen the hub. So I got to take off this wheel. You're gonna see me jack it up, remove the wheel, pop off the center cap, and then put the wheel back on and lower it again, so that way the weight of the car is on the ground and I could break loose the hub. And for that, it takes a special tool. It's not that special, but it's not your standard tool. So I have this Dirty Last 30 millimeter 12 point, and that's what's needed there. So that's a standard non-packaged item. And you can see here over the years I've collected a shitload of wrenches from Harbor Freight. These are Dirty Lasts. This is when Dirty Last had good quality. I think the quality that they have today is pretty shitty compared to that kit. Craftsman. So just, you know, I purchase tools over the years since I was a kid, and over time, of course, sockets fall in the dirt. Look at my workspace. I work here in the dirt. Right now my concrete slab is taken up by a good old Eleanor. I got some work that I'm doing on Eleanor and waiting for parts to come in, so she's still on jacks until those parts come in. So in the meantime, I have to work here in the dirt on this Camry's name is Latrell. It reminds me of Latrell from the movie White Chicks. Just very classy. And so we're working on Latrell today, and gotta work in the dirt. So working in the dirt, sockets fall, nuts fall, screws fall, and then they get lost and they get covered in the dirt. And you can see here from all the leaves, the tree loses leaves. Got a pepper tree right behind me, so this pepper tree is always covering everything up. And then the hillside erodes and then the dirt falls. And that's why I got all these little concrete pieces. I use them as wheel chocks. I use them as gate chocks. I use them as dirt retainers. And driving in the mud sometimes here, it gets a little slippery. So these pieces of concrete come in handy. And then, of course, these steel slabs right here. They're for another project at a later point in time. But in the meantime, they work nicely for jacking up cars and being able to work right here. So that's what we have going on. So here we go. All right, so check this out. I don't know what happened in the last time-lapse video, but it cut off, and I don't know if we were able to capture the whole removal process from far away, but here we are. Let me explain to you what I had to do. So the first thing that I did was I removed the brake piston. This guy right here, I removed it. I have some new brake pads. While I'm in here, I'm gonna go ahead and replace the brake pads. After removing the piston, I removed the caliper mount. Fuck, I don't know what the hell that thing's called. I removed that. That came off. Then after that came off, I went ahead and removed the ABS sensor. After removing the ABS sensor, I had to remove the steering linkage. And after removing the steering linkage, I removed these two mounting bolts. Two mounting bolts came off. The goal is to separate the hub from the axle, so that the axle could then move around a little bit and access this nut for the lower ball joint. That's the goal there. So it's a pain in the ass to get all this, but I got it figured out now. So we'll go ahead and capture the next side in time lapse, and that one will be directly in the work area, and I'll do my best to capture the hand and tool movement as I'm going through the other side to remove. And I am expecting that the installation process will probably be the reverse of this. All right, so stay tuned. So here we are, vacuum running in the background. Don't mind that humming sound. So let me walk you through this really quick and just a couple of things that we're looking at here. Okay, so first things first. Again, you saw first thing that came out was this guy, then it was that guy, and then it was the ABS sensor. Once all that was broken loose, I think I removed this, which was ready to come out too. Popped that guy out. Once I popped that guy out, I loosened up these two bolts. I might have loosened them up in the beginning just to have them loose and ready to come out. Once everything was broken free, we need to move this axle out of the way to access the castle nut that goes in here. And you saw I struggled a little bit with the cotter pin. Definitely gonna need some cotter pins. I think I have a set of cotter pins. All right, so then castle nut comes out, pop this guy out, and then we're good to go. Here's the hub, and this one's the one that was making all that humming sound. I really can't tell that it's bad. Could I? Yeah. Oh yeah. I can hear it right there. Hear that? That scraping sound. And It still glides pretty smooth, but I can feel a little bit of roughness in it, and I definitely do hear a metal grinding sound in there. So this thing was making all kinds of noise while we would drive it. Yeah, there's a lot of resistance in there. I mean, sorry, not resistance, just a grinding sound. And at highway speeds, it could sound pretty scary, and your wife is gonna be telling you that she doesn't feel safe in the car. So definitely do not let your family be in dangerous situations like that, because this is a family mover. My kids get in it, and they go on long trips to San Diego and San Francisco, Bay Area, LA, and back, and wherever else we need to go in it. All right, so now that I'm here, right, here's the other thing, right? So now's a good time to inspect, and my steering linkage bushing is good. So even the dust cover on it, nice and clean. This guy, it looked like it leaked a little bit of grease, but what I'm also noticing is that my lower control arm, it has some dry rot down there. So it's gonna be time to replace this lower control arm sometime soon. Probably sooner better than later. So it looks like the next job on this one will probably be the front struts, along with the lower control arm and a lower bushing. Probably hit all that together. It's not urgent. It's definitely not urgent. But if I have another failure anytime soon, not a major failure, we're pretty good. I don't expect any major failures, but here's a failure right here. Let me show you this one. Steering linkage is shot. So this needs to be replaced. Does it need to be replaced today? Nah, we're fine. We're gonna be all right for a little bit longer. It's not gonna be a critical failure that's gonna happen right away, but I should definitely address it pretty soon. So once we get in here and I get the steering linkages, I'll probably get the shocks and lower control arms. I know that they're gonna cost me an arm and a leg. So my bushings are not fully worn out, but they are starting to show signs of wear. Right there, let me get you in a little bit closer and you could see all the dry rot, but it's still holding together. So I think probably more critical will be the struts, shocks, and the steering linkage, and we'll leave the lower control arm alone. And let's see, now that we're here, also inspecting this guy, and I see that there's grease coming out of it. That's probably not good. But are we okay to keep driving? Yeah, I think we're okay to keep driving. The boot is still there, the boot is still in place, but I would definitely start looking at a replacement set of lower control arm bushings. So that's probably going to be the play here. It's going to be lower control arm bushings, steering linkage, struts and shocks in the next one. And we'll leave the lower control arm alone, since the lower control arm still has life in it. Okay, so in this case, I will definitely go original Toyota parts. I don't want to risk it with the bushings themselves. Ball joints, I really don't want to mess with anything that's not Toyota. On my ball joints, on my shocks and struts, KYBs, I'm okay with KYBs. That's what Toyota uses in the Prius. So I'll just go with KYBs. I've had good experience with them. And steering linkage will definitely be Toyota parts. So that's the thing, right? Here I am, I have this thing taken apart, and this is an opportunity to come in here and inspect things that we normally would not be able to check out. And now that I'm here, I'm also looking at my my axle. Axle looks good. There's no problem with the axle whatsoever. Just surface rust, but no leaks, no tears in the boots, no clunking sound. So we're good on the axles. And all right, so now I'm gonna go through the assembly process, and you could check that out. And I'm gonna hit pause here, and that's gonna be the next section. Alrighty, so here we go. If I turn it like that so you can see. here I am going to unbox the brand new unit. Here is the old one right here. This is an original Toyota part. It's got bad bearings. That we know for sure. You can hear all that. You can hear that grinding metal sound in there. And we'll do a quick comparison between the Toyota one and the new unboxed Moog one. What I would say about this is that this steering knuckle is probably still good, and so is everything else, the dust cover and probably even the hub. It's just the bearing that's bad in it, but I don't have the press to press in the bearing. And normally what I do is that when I rebuild a part like this, like if I were to rebuild this, I would order everything. So I would order a brand new dust cover, I would order all of this new, probably just all of the stuff that I know that wears out for sure. Maybe even this piece I probably would have ordered it new. And then after I open it up, at least that way I have all the parts, and I only install what I use, and I try to return what I don't use. Sometimes though, I'm not able to do it right away because I can't get to the job. I sit on the parts for maybe a month, and then my return policy has expired and I end up with a shitload of extra parts. So that's sometimes a drawback to that, but it's always better to have the parts than to have the car sitting on jacks for a couple of weeks. It's just a pain in the ass to see a car sitting on jacks, and then it's in the way, can't get stuff past the driveway and shit like that. All right, so anyways, so let's get back to this unboxing. So the first thing that I noticed about this Moog is this right here, made in China. So it's made in China. Manufacturing's cheap over there. However, I've had some good experiences with Chinese parts, especially when I'm going with quality parts. So one of the things that got my attention is NASCAR. So for all you NASCAR fans, if you're a NASCAR fan and your shit's made in China, that kind of goes against NASCAR, doesn't it? All right. So anyways, back to the unboxing. So here we are. I am observing this packaging, and the packaging is really nice. Glossy print on this, and in here it comes with a brand new nut for the axle, so that's good. And the brand new part is nicely packaged. All right, so this here is for a Camry Hybrid SE, which would be Sport Edition, I'm assuming. I don't know, but I definitely do want to make sure that my spindle is the same, and it does look like the same pattern as the original one, so I don't foresee that we will have any problems. So back to the unboxing. Yep, so this part is really nice and clean, and this is my driver's side right here. This here is where my sensor will go. Steering linkage, strut, and lower ball joints. And let's have a feel at the let's see, first of all, it's got a National bearing in it. I'm not familiar with National right off the top of my head. I'm sure I've used it before on my budget builds, and oh yeah, what a difference, what a difference. Nice and smooth. So I'm at 103,000 miles right now on the Camry, so we'll see how long it lasts. So this is the unboxing part. Now it's time to put it all back together. here we go. This is the fucking shit that pisses me off. Look at this. It's not the right goddamn part. Fuck. That fucking sucks ass. I gotta return these. And fuck, that's gonna be a fucking bitch. God dog. Now the car's gonna sit here on jacks for some time. Now that I got these original rotors out, I might as well fucking take it to a shop and have the new bearings pressed in and just be done with it like that. Fucking fuck. This sucks ass. Hey, so we're back, and I've had the bearings pressed in. There's a shop down the street from my house. They resurface rotors and they press in bearings. I just found out that they press in bearings and they do them for 25 bucks each. So for 50 bucks, I had these two bearings. I had to purchase the bearings, of course. I got the Koyo bearings. These are the ones that Toyota uses, made in Japan. Koyo bearings, and these are the original ones. So everything has been pressed back in and put back together. So at the end of the day, I am keeping the original Toyota spindles. Ain't messing with that Moog stuff that doesn't fit. That was a major disappointment. And in that time, I've had to make 2 trips to the Bay Area in the gas guzzling Sequoia that's giving me 8 miles per gallon because of this situation here. So I'll be really glad to be able to have this put back together so that I could go back to my 30 mpg for those long drives that I have to make to the Bay Area or to San Diego sometimes from LA. So that's it. I'm gonna start putting it back together so you could get an idea for what's happening next. In the last video, which was, oh, by the way, today is December 1st, and that video was originally recorded about 2 weeks ago, maybe a week and some change. So I had to stop everything. So the car, the Camry, has been sitting on jacks. Oh, and then another situation that we ended up in was that somebody went in and pressed on the brakes and popped out the brake cylinder. I've covered it in plastic right now, but the brake cylinder popped out. Here is the piston. Sorry, the piston popped out and it started leaking oil all over the place. This thing rolled around in the dirt, so it was all full of dirt. So I'm gonna have to come back and also fix that. So I'll catch that in this next video. I really don't know what I'm doing here, but it's very simple. Just gotta pop it back in and make sure it seals. That's the main thing there, right? So yeah, so that's what we're about to get into next. Is we're gonna continue where we left off. Oh, one more thing. So I do have some extra parts, and I got these Duralast Gold brake shoes. I don't mind going to AutoZone for them. They're pretty good. And I also have these end links. Yeah, I went Moog again. So let's unbox these really quick and see how good these be. And these are not specific to one side. Both the driver's side and the passenger side are pretty much the same. So let me open up a blade here really quick. It's one-handed since I'm holding the phone. All right, let's see. Other side. Unboxing the Moogs. These are end links. Where do the end links go? That is a great question. Let's have a look here. These are the Moog end links. Let's see, let's open one up right quick. Get a quick visual of it. Just to check out the quality. All right, yeah, and that's the reason why I picked these, is because these are greasable. That's one of the things that I do like about Moog products, is that they are greasable, although I did have a shitty experience the last time around. But this will replace this here. So this looks like a good fit. If I let's see, let me remove this plastic. Take it out of the plastic, and it's as is visible there. It reaches, it's the exact same. Yeah, it's the same. So we're gonna be good. Slip that in there. So I think we could probably start with this right here. Start with that, and then we'll move on to the steering knuckles. So that's what we're gonna do, and then we'll get into the brakes after, once the steering knuckles and the rotors are back in. Check this out. We did have a small hiccup here. Let me turn this guy over. Here we go. Okay, so it has 4 bolts that hold this dust cover, dust plate, whatever you want to call it, together. And the situation that I had was that one of them got stripped. Come on, focus right here. There we go. And it's noticeable right there. And so, and then the other one, which I have in my pocket, let me get it here. It got bended. See that? So 2 of the original bolts, one is not going to be on, and the reason why is because my tool to chase the thread cannot get in there. Yep, cannot get in there lest I go in at an angle, and I'm not going to do that. So the next time that this thing is all apart, I will chase the thread there, get that resolved. For now, we're just gonna send it like that. Fuck it. It's got 3 bolts holding it together. They're all torqued down nicely, and we're just gonna go ahead and send it like that. So, lesson learned: whenever you send this over to the shop where they press the bearings in, they're not really going to give a shit about taking it apart for you and cleaning it up and making sure that everything is disassembled nicely. They're just going to focus on pressing the parts in, pressing the old parts out and pressing the new parts in, and slapping it back together just on where it's most critical. So the reason why I got bent and stripped was because this thing was loose. Let me show you how I had sent it in. I had sent it in like this guy. Let's see. This one's a little tight. It's probably hand tight, but I had left them a little loose. Yeah, see, there's already a bolt missing. I could see there. You can hear the rattling in it. So it wasn't fully tight, and I think that's the reason why it had so much play. That while they were handling it, that's how that bolt, the one that I showed you that got bent. It's probably from all the loose parts and shit like that. So lesson learned: whenever you send it in to get pressed, have all your shit put together nice and tight. All right, and on with the show.